In other regions, I feel like they don't draft too much to win the draft or like get a real big advantage from drafts through flex picks and strategic strategies. They just much more try to play a standard game. But yeah, in Europe, I'm not too surprised. Like people are playing Karma bot to get like a good matchup somewhere else maybe or stuff like this. Yeah.
Vladimir will never get nerfed. You will get an 05 Yasuo in every one of your ranked games. NA will win worlds.
Hey man, got trouble sleeping? Try Brain Effect Sleep.
What are you doing in my home?
Hello everyone, this is Darius from the Shotcaller, joined here by Upset. After a win against Schalke, a very quick win, very easy it seemed. Does that showcase that Schalke has a very high power level after all?
I'm not sure if it showcases that because we don't consider Rogue like one of the best teams in the league, so I'm not sure. But if you look at our last week's performance versus Origin, or like I guess it's more time ago now, was like quite fine too. I think we're like upper middle of the pack right now. I think the top teams still seem like ahead of us, but yeah, we're definitely quite good right now.
So when I was looking at the draft and I did my predictions today and I expected Schalke to win, but then I looked at draft and was like, oh shit, they let Mordekaiser happen. What was going on there?
I mean, to be honest, like they drafted really well, I think. Like we had a plan, but it got changed up a lot by the way that they were banning champs and stuff. I mean, I can't go too much into it, but we definitely didn't feel too happy coming out of draft. But in the end, we just played our champs better than them in fights mainly, I think. We didn't like play really good macro or anything. It was mostly like we played fights better, we got ahead from it, especially I got like really fat early games, so I could pressure the map a lot. And then, we won, because we played better, I guess.
It helped that at one point Rogue straight up inted into you guys.
Yeah, that helps well. I mean, they were playing a bit weird because, they were always like going side lane and just forcing the fight on side, but it wasn't necessarily a good fight, but they still were forcing it, so it helped.
Is it safe to say, though, that for the next drafts, we won't see Mordekaiser get out of ban phase, at least from your perspective?
I mean, maybe for a blue side, we can pick it, but right now they're like, again, a lot of OP champs, I think, or at least champs that we consider OP, so maybe there will be some trades going on, and actually, on the stage game, Mortal didn't look like too OP. I think Odo handled him quite well overall with the Aatrox. So I'm actually not sure how OP it is, but we definitely thought it was like really powerful champ.
Fair. That's pretty much been the consensus, of course, of the professional community. Now, when I'm looking at Schalke's game so far for the split, I think the split so far has been going well for Schalke. You've guys shown a lot of promise, a lot of improvement over Spring Split. But I look at the team and I feel like you have kind of taken a bit of a step back compared to previous iterations of Schalke. You don't need to carry as hard, almost. Do you feel the same way?
I think we're just playing better, I think, so it doesn't seem like I have to carry as hard. And I think Abe has been improving with Trick as well and has like more confidence to play on stage maybe and is going for more plays, especially on champs like Akali. He has been having quite a good performance, so it definitely helps me as well. But I still think I'm carrying quite hard if you look at what my role can do. But my team is definitely playing better than the end of last split. So it appears maybe that I'm doing less, but I think my team is just better.
So, but when you say that what your role can do and that kind of stuff, does it then surprise you to see Reckless all of a sudden go support?
No, I mean, I think AD carry is not as bad as it was when it was like 7.11, I think was the patch, where they completely like ruined the base stats and everything. But I definitely see like overall the game has much more strategy that's being applied in competitive. Before everyone was like much more looking to play a standard game, but now actually teams are becoming much more creative, especially in Europe. And if something is like can get you advantage in the draft and you can like win something really hard and it's like a strat you practice, then EU teams will go for it much more. And in other regions, I feel like they don't draft too much to win the draft or like get a real big advantage from drafts through flex picks and strategic strategies. They just much more try to play a standard game. But in Europe, I'm not too surprised. Like people are playing Karma bot to get like a good matchup somewhere else maybe or stuff like this.
Interesting. Was there, because I mean, this has been a trend that you could obviously see at international tournaments, even last year at Worlds, even, but with a peak being G2 at MSI. But was there like a specific point in your opinion when teams just went like, hey, we can do this, we can play bot laners top lane or top laners bot lane, stuff like that, even before, the AD carry patch? Or maybe was that the ignition for you teams to completely try out new things?
I think this whole lane swapping thing became probably most apparent at like last World Championship when I was talking to players that were there. They like already were experimenting with swapping like the OP champs, because I think it mainly happened because you could play like Aatrox, Akali, Sylas, Irelia, I think one more, but these 4 champs especially between both roles, and they have like all different matchups into each other, so you could get an advantage just through swapping lanes, and it could be like a big enough advantage that's actually worth like having someone off role. I think this is when it appeared the most that people were actually like swapping lanes, but it's mainly between mid and top, I think, because the matchups are really similar. But maybe like a team like G2 can, if they're playing at a for fun event, they can also put perks top, but I don't think like that's necessarily their best strategy, right? That was like more for fun. But yeah, mid top is a lot of flexing going on. And
I mean, in between we even had, picks just like being flexed even between like bot lane and top lane, like Pyke being the biggest one, of course. But, hey, maybe we'll one day see another Swain in the bot lane. What would you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think it's not playable right now, but just depends. It's like not OP like it was when it was like 7.11, and the support champs are maybe not so good for it. So, but you can basically play whatever you want, I think, if you're like really good at it and you have a good plan around the draft, like how you want to draft for it, and the matchups, you can play a lot of stuff bot lane.
Do you think that, so I think we can all agree that the ability to flex these things and get advantages out of draft is a huge factor for EU success right now in terms of international events. Do you think that if international teams, especially Korean ones, would kind of drop their mentality of always playing the macro game and that kind of stuff, and they would also do these sorts of things, do you think that they can, again, be way over the top like they used to be?
No, because I think it's not as dependent on like how to play the perfect game as a team, where Korean teams were like super disciplined and they probably practiced a lot more discipline as well as European teams, and they were always like looking to play the perfect game. But European teams were probably maybe too undisciplined or they want to take like more risks and want to make more plays. So I don't think even if Korea would try to like change their playstyle completely to the European way, maybe, even though they are slowly doing it, and they play much more explosive, it would mean that they would like become better at it, because mechanically I think the top players in Europe and the top players in Korea are not far apart at all, and maybe some European players like can overpower Asian players too. So now it's like much more individual skill dependent, I guess, and not like how to play the perfect team game. So I don't think Korea will be like super dominant how they were in the past, where there is no chance of beating them.
Very interesting. I really like that idea, but I like the arguments behind it, of course, very reasonable. Lastly, is there anything you would like to say to the Schalke fans on the performance so far?
Yeah, I mean, I hope we reach playoffs to split, obviously, and can show a better performance and don't like fall short at the end. And yeah, thanks for supporting us, and hopefully we keep winning the games we have to win.
And a hashtag for the people that watch until the end?
Or hashtag, Hashtag SO4win, I guess. Yeah. I don't really have a special one. You can suggest something.
No, I like the Schalke move. Okay. So let's go hashtag S04win, the normal Schalke one. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time, Upset. Make sure to follow him on Twitter. This was Darius from the Shotcaller, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. We'd especially like to thank Krzysztof Bujnowicz, Thomas Göttel, Etienne, Erich Althaus, Lukas Legal, Lazy Raven, Lama Vyuta, and Adam Novosviat for your very special support, and of course also all the people whose names you see scrolling past you. Without you guys, we would have closed down probably a while ago. So thank you so much for your help. Thank you.